Okay, welcome back to Mind Your Own Business. Uy, andyan pala kayo. Andyan pala yung mga listeners.
Hello and
Busy
welcome.
tayo nagchichismisan eh.
Okay. Because we were going over this next text actually from Christoph. Just to update you to the listeners out there, you can call us at 897-8374 or 895-4460 to give your comments on any questions that we're answering today or to ask questions of your own.
You can text us as well, Nicole.
Yeah, you can text us at RJAM, that's all caps, space your message and send it to 2256. And if we don't get to your question today, we'll get to it next week. But these are the people who texted actually from last week and last Monday. This is actually a text from Christoph, okay? I'm just reading it as this. I am foreigner who wants a corporation in the Philippines. They tell me that only 40% shares owned by me. Why they tell me that? Why they tell you that, man, Christoph? I don't know where you're from, man, but don't get offended, man. But Christoph, what's up, man? Jamaica, man. Okay, Christoph, actually, they're correct. But I'll let Atty.Nikki go into the legal, go into the legal explanation of that, and then.
Okay, medyo mahabang discussion to. Anyway, Christoph, there are various forms by which a foreigner can do business in the Philippines. So, corporation. Now, let me just explain why they are saying 40%. Okay, under our corporate laws, if not more than 40% of the shares are owned by foreigners, the corporation is considered as a domestic corporation, as a Philippine corporation. So, alam mo kasi in practice, Nicole, I think they prefer to have a domestic corporation because there are less stringent requirements. It's easier to move. Now, the problem kasi if you're a foreign corporation, more than 40%, the law requires a minimum capitalization of at least $200,000 US.
Yes, this is what we were saying, that you can actually be a foreign firm. This was like months ago when we did one of our shows. You can be a foreign firm established here in the Philippines, corporation, but the minimum is $200,000 US. So it's usually big names or brand names like let's say a certain bank or a name brand product like, I don't know, Gucci or something if they came in.
Nico, it's more complicated than that. The Board of Investment, they issue a negative list.
Okay.
There are restrictions on foreign equity for some industries.
For some industries.
And also, say for example, for retail, there are different capitalization requirements. So, for retail, if you want foreign equity there, kasi the thrust is to reserve this to Filipinos.
Yes, we were talking about.
Now, if you want foreign equity, minimum dyan, $2.5 million US.
So, that's why those would be the really big brand names that can afford that $2.5 million.
So, probably, they're giving you that advice because, your local partners do not want to invest so much. Kasi magkano ba $200,000 US? Parang roughly 8.6 million, parang gan pesos. So, medyo malaki yun. But there's an exemption, Nicola. If you are an export enterprise, you are exempt from the $200,000 US requirement. An export enterprise is a company which exports its services or goods, at least 60% of its goods or services.
At least 60% of it, okay.
Oo. So, halimbawa, ang mga kliyente nyo talaga, yung mga serbisyo nyo rendered to those
let's say you manufacture specifically for, let's say, companies in the US or something like that. Okay.
Oo, at least 60%. So, you don't need to comply with the $200,000 US requirement.
So, you can invest lower, but you will still only own, I'm just clarifying, only own 40% or it's
no, you
yours?
can own more.
You can own more.
You can own more.
Okay.
That's why ang distinction lang dyan, if less than 40% ang foreign equity, it will be considered as a Philippine corporation, not a foreign corporation.
But if you are an export an export enterprise, then you can own it and you can own more.
You can also own more.
You can own more as long as 60% of what you...
No, let me clarify. Sorry, okay. Let me break it down. Okay, pag 60-40 sharing, 40% owned by a foreigner, 60% owned by Filipinos, that is considered as a Philippine corporation.
Yes.
So, since Philippine corporation siya, wala masyadong capitalization requirements. Now, if foreign equity exceeds 40%, let's say 50%, pwede pa rin yun in some industries. There are some industries na bawal hanggang 30% lang, iba na yan. There's a long list.
Yes.
Now, if it exceeds 40%, it will not be considered as a Philippine corporation anymore. It will be considered as a foreign corporation.
And once you're considered a foreign corporation,
minimum capitalization of $200,000 US dollars, except if you're an export enterprise. So if you're a foreign corporation, which is an export enterprise, you export at least 60% of your goods and services outside of the Philippines, you don't have to comply with that $200,000 US dollars.
Yeah, okay, so
but clarification, pagdating sa retail, very strict.
very strict.
Minimum of $2.5 million capitalization if there is foreign equity.
Exactly.
So, alam mo, actually, it's a long
Fantastic.
discussion.
No, but you explained it correctly. So this is it.
So
This
I
how
just
it goes.
tried to highlight the salient features.
You did. That was it. I understood it perfectly from what you said, and I'm sure
Thank
Christoph
you.
did too. Thanks for asking that question, Christoph. And you see, actually, that's why they're telling you that maybe you can only own 40% because of what Atty.Nikki said.
yung
You
mga
have to
hassle.
invest. Unless you are in, well, now you have the answers. Unless you are an export enterprise that exports at least 60%, or you have a lot that you can invest. So you know the answer already. Thanks for texting that in, Christoph. Okay, let's go to the...
I think we have a report, no?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yes, we have a report from... Yes, we have a report coming in. So let's put Rene on, and then let's go to the next text after that. Stay tuned. Hang on. Listen to Rene.
This is RJAM Field Reports.
They conduct a protest of a various group of the commemoration of the people and the declaration of martial law in the country. This time has already set the march of the different militant groups, where from the front of the University to Santo Tomas in España go to Don Chino Roses Bridge or Menjola, according to the group of Karapatan, as commemoration of the 39th year anniversary of martial law was needed to free by government the political prisoners. Although a victim of martial law, the family of President Benigno Noynoy Aquino III is still deep and blind the call to give justice to the victim of martial law, and that was the time of the late President Ferdinand Marcos. Live report from Manila, Rene Maliwa, TCRJM, the voice of the Philippines.
Okay, thank you for that report, Rene Maliwat. Let's go back to answering some of the text questions here. This is a text from Catherine of Pasay. I have corporation, but I moved address. Can I do that?
You know, nobody can stop you from moving. Now, yes, you can do that physically. However, have you... I don't know if Catherine has filed an amendment of her Articles of Incorporation.
Remember, we talked about that recently. You have to amend your...
If you're
you
a
should.
corporation and you change your principal office address, you need to file with the SEC, no? Yung request for amendment of the Articles of Incorporation to reflect your new address. Kasi if you don't do that, kasi you have to file every year, no, the GIS, and you have to specify your address, and you state your new address without requesting for amendment. Because, Nicole, with the SEC, they will issue us a certificate.
Yes,
Certificate of Amendment of Articles of Incorporation. So if you don't do that, you don't go through the proper channels, you don't file the necessary request, you will be penalized, I think, 10,000 pesos.
Yeah. So actually, if you are a corporation, amend your Articles of Corporation. What if, oh yeah, she said I have a corporation. Okay. But what if, let me ask a question here. What if you're just a sole proprietorship and you list your address with a DTI as something, then you move? Do you have to...
No, kasi
you can move, you have to inform them.
Sa DTI ngayon, with their new system, what you write there actually is your
home address?
Home address. Yung parang permanent address mo.
Okay.
Because remember, I told you, the scope of the certificate can be national.
Yes, that's why they won't ask you anymore for an address, because the scope can be national.
Unless you change your principal address, no, yung home address mo, yung personal details mo.
Unless you move talaga. Yeah.
Then you file for request for recordal of new address. Kasi Nicole, when you apply for with the DTI, may dalawang sets yan. First set of information will pertain to your personal information. Personal address. The second set will pertain yung sa office information.
And usually it's the same because so that the scope is national already. They know where to find you because you're a sole proprietorship.
Yes.
That's why if you get sewed down to your panty, they know where to find your
Alam
panties.
nila, katok sila sa bahay mo.
Where are your panties? They're part of the...
You know, also for corporations, that's why they require you to file any changes, no, for at least insofar as your address is concerned, so that in case somebody wants to sue you, they can just refer to the records and they know your address. Kasi mahirap, Nicole, fly-by-night corporation.
Yes.
Diba? Parang, let's say I'm a corporation, I will pretend that, I can sell you this much, and after taking your money, I leave. So what do? You go to the SEC and look for the corporate records, diba? So kung hindi siya updated, I can make this address up. And you go there, wala pala, parang isang wall or whatever.
To those of you who are tempted, don't give your mother-in-law's address if you To those of you who are tempted, do not give your mother-in-law's address, ha? Don't give your in-law's address. Don't do anything illegal like that. No matter how bad they've been to you, do not give your in-law's address. Okay. Let's answer this text from Boy of Bulacan. Tinanggal po ako sa trabaho dahil daw po retrenchment. Tama po ba gawin lang nila yon? Hindi naman po sarado ang planta. So yun ang tanong ni Boy. Tinanggal siya sa trabaho. Boy, natanggal ka sa trabaho dahil sa retrenchment. Tama ba daw kung gawin yun, Atty.Nikki? Kasi hindi pa daw sarado ang planta. So Boy got laid off because of retrenchment. But he claims that the factory is still open. So,
retrenchment is different from closing a company. Totally, no? Retrenchment is actually a measure done to prevent serious losses in the company. Kumbaga, nalulugi na yung kumpanya, but kaya pa rin, no? But the company has to undertake certain measures to cut down the expenses in order to survive. So, anyway, retrenchment is an authorized cause for termination of employment. Remember, Nicole, in labor law, we discussed that you can terminate an employee based on two grounds. No? First, yung just causes, which normally would be the fault of the employee. Let's say, yung mga grave misconduct, yung mga ganyan, fault na employee yon. There's also what we call the authorized causes. And those usually, not really fault ng employer, but it includes retrenchment or even closure of business. So, retrenchment is a measure to prevent serious losses. So, the company can fire you.
Yeah, they can fire you. And because they need that to survive and retain the other